Council decided this week that the Manhattan Inn in Lloydminster will be shut down until it can be brought up to fire code. The Manhattan has been fighting to stay up to code. The owner came to Council asking for a 3-month extension before being closed down.
21, I believe, going back that far, inspections had been carried out and there was non-compliance orders. It had reached a point that it was the concern for safety of patrons in the hotel and in the retail space was certainly noted, and those are concerning.
The fire department's primary concerns are the alarm system and emergency lights, which are deemed inadequate, as well as an inoperable fire suppression system.
Direction that the order stands for the facility, so that the property will be closed on November 24th with the ability of the property owner to bring it up to speed as required by the fire codes and the fire inspector.
The 50th Avenue property houses a hotel and a liquor store. And now here is the entertainment corner with our Ty Roswell.
I'm Ty Roswell, and I'm here once again at May Cinema 6 to give you the scoop on what's going on in the movie world this weekend. Now, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes has been in theaters for over a week now, and if you're a fan of the Hunger Games franchise, you're not going to want to miss it.
Rated PG-13 and directed by Francis Lawrence. In this Hunger Games prequel that happens many years before the events of the Hunger Games movie, a young Coriolanus Snow stars. Before he becomes president of Panem, he finds himself as a mentor of a young women tribute from the impoverished District 12.
So after 8 years of hiatus, the Hunger Games is back, and you're going to want to check it out at May Cinema 6. So this week we got something for the younger audience out there. Walt Disney is back with Wish.
Directed by Fawn Varanson-Thorne and Chris Buck, and rated PG. In this Pixar animated film, Asha senses a darkness surrounding the kingdom's ruler, King Magnifico. This leads her to ask the stars for help. Soon, an actual star from the sky answers Asha's wish. Together, Asha and her magical star must overcome the evil of King Magnifico to help all the dreams of the people of her kingdom come true.
So if you're looking to let the kid inside you out, Wish has you covered. One of our big premieres this weekend is Napoleon, which shows us the origins of the military commander.
Directed by Ridley Scott and rated R. Napoleon takes a look at the military commander's origins and his swift, ruthless climb to emperor. This film is viewed through the prism of his addictive and often volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. Joaquin Phoenix stars as the title character with Vanessa Kirby as Josephine.
So if you're a history buff, make sure you get down here to May Cinema 6, check out Napoleon. And that's all the time we have this week on the Entertainment Corner, but remember, if not everything we talked about this week is up to your speed, there's plenty of others to choose from here at May Cinema 6.
And Abby St. John joins me now. And what are we looking at for the weekend for weather?
Well, we are expected to see some snowfall, particularly over tomorrow and Sunday. Hopefully it's not as much. I mean, last night we got a little bit of flurries that carried over from the afternoon, but it wasn't too bad, and most of it didn't stick around, and today was a lot less gloomy than yesterday was as well. We got to see some sunshine this afternoon, which is always nice to see. And so overall today was a fairly nice day out. It's 2 degrees currently here, feels closer to -3. That wind speed 26 kilometers per hour was quite strong today, so that definitely cooled things off significantly, which isn't great, but we did get to see the sun out today, which is nice. Across the region in Alberta, 0 out in Provost, -1 in Wainwright and St. Paul and Cold Lake, +1 in Vermilion, Marwayne, and Lac La Biche, 2 in Vegreville, Edmonton, and Bonnyville. And then taking a look on the Saskatchewan side, 2 out in Isla Crosse and Green Lake and Meadow Lake, and then down in North Battleford as well. 0 out in Macklin, 1 out in Maidstone, St. Walburg, and in Pierceland. Overnight tonight in North Battleford, it will drop down to -6, staying mainly clear. There will be a little bit of cloud coverage overall, but for the most part, it should be a nice evening out. And then tomorrow, daytime high of +2. Winds are strong at 28 kilometers per hour, so the wind will increase throughout the day. But the clouds will give way to some sun, so it should still be a nice sunny day out tomorrow. But there is about a 55% chance of some showers expected in the afternoon, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake, -5, and then the clouds will start to increase overnight tonight with winds at 13 kilometers per hour. Into tomorrow, about 1 centimeter of snow is predicted for tomorrow morning to fall. Otherwise, it will be a breezy day of 20 kilometer per hour winds, daytime high of +1, and there will be some sun throughout the day as well. Overnight tonight here in Lloydminster will stay fairly clear, but there will be a little bit of cloud coverage here and there, and we'll drop down to -4 degrees. And then tomorrow, we're expecting about a 55% chance of some morning flurries. Otherwise, similar to Cold Lake and North Battleford, it will just be windy, and the sun will be peeking out, similar to what we saw today. But it will be quite windy at 30 kilometer per hour winds with a daytime high of +2 and a low of -11 for tomorrow. And then on Sunday in the morning, there's about an 80% chance that we'll see about 1 to 2 centimeters of snowfall, and it will remain quite cloudy with a high of -1 and a low of -6. And then on Monday, expect considerable clouds up into the sky with a high of +3 and a low of -3. And we have a viewer submitted weather photo from Tim. Thank you so much for this beautiful and cool shot of the moon in between the trees. I think this is super cool. So thank you so much for sending us this photo. And if you'd like to see your weather photos on our show, please email us at weather@stingray.com. That is a first look at your evening weather forecast. I'll have a little bit more on later on in the show.
So I have Vera Gallant joining me today with the Kiwanis Club of Lloydminster, and we are talking about the Festival of Lights that's coming up this weekend. Vera, can you tell me a little bit more about the event?
Thank you for inviting me, Leanne. This is a real honor. Yes, this is year number 5 that the Kiwanis Club has been putting on the Festival of Lights. And we have the official lighting this coming Sunday at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, well, I understand that there's some things going on other than the lighting. What can people expect when they head out?
Okay, we are hoping, well, we will be having cookies and hot chocolate for anybody who comes out. And hopefully they come early and just walk around and stick around for when the speeches start. And we're planning on having speeches at 4:30. Hopefully it's not too dark then, so we can read. But and then the official lighting will take place at 5 o'clock.
All right, so, and this is taking place where?
This takes place at the Lloyd Kiwanis Park, which is 1 block west of Tate's Liquor Store. So 56 B Street, I believe, and 51st Avenue.
Okay, so, and you said that it's going to be lit all month long in December.
Yes, once we light it on Sunday, it'll be lit probably until about January 4th, January 5th. So gives everybody an opportunity to go out, hopefully more than once, and just enjoy our beautiful park.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but any idea how many lights you have?
Actually, we just talked about that yesterday. Yes, we calculated we should have around 50,000 lights this year.
Oh, wow. Okay, sounds great. So is this bigger or smaller or the same as other years?
Oh, it's bigger and better every year. So yeah, we've expanded. Unfortunately, I don't remember the names of a family who donated a lot of their decorations and their ornaments. So we have all those that we added. And once again, we purchased a few more lights and some more decorations.
And how are you guys able to put this event on? Do you do fundraising through the year? Or?
We live in the absolute best community in the world, I believe. Lloydminster is fabulous, and I'm the one that goes out and collects funds, and I love fundraising, and I'm sure every business in town is ready to lock the door when they see me coming, but they are fabulous. Yeah, it's the community that supports this event. Businesses donate. A lot of the retail stores will donate ornaments and decorations to us. So yeah, that is how we fund this project. It's all through donations.
Well, it sounds excellent. So again, just the time and place where people can check this out.
Okay, we begin on Sunday, November 26th at 4:30. Official lighting at 5 o'clock. And again, it'll be lit until at least January 4th. So I hope everybody takes the opportunity to come out. And I was saying yesterday, the world is complicated, life is complicated. So I hope people can come out and just for a little while forget the troubles in the world and in their own lives and just enjoy the magic that our Festival of Lights provides.
Right. And we're blessed with some really good weather this year.
This is awesome. We don't even have to shovel the pathways this year. So yeah, this is wonderful.
All right.
It's been a lot easier putting up the decorations. It's no snow.
Yeah, absolutely. And not freezing your fingers off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Vera. And I look forward to seeing the lights on Sunday. And I hope the event goes really well for everybody.
Thank you, Leanne. Hope to see you there on Sunday.
Coming up this weekend, there's a couple of great ways to really get into the Christmas spirit. Coming up tomorrow night, the lights and sounds of Christmas House will officially come to life for the first time this season. You're invited to get there early. They're going to flip the switch at 7 p.m. and you can be one of the first to see those beautiful Christmas lights and watch them dance to the music. And while you're there, make sure you check out the backyard as well for all the great Christmas decorations. And at the Lights and Sounds of Christmas House, they are accepting donations, and those will support a number of local organizations, including Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lloydminster. Then coming up on Sunday, right here at Kiwanis Park, they're going to light the lights for their Festival of Lights. They have a short ceremony planned at about 4:45 on Sunday afternoon. Then at 5 o'clock, they'll light up the park. What a great way to get into the Christmas spirit. Coming up tomorrow night, the toughest sport on dirt is in Lloydminster. The PBR Winter Classic is at the Lloyd X. You've got the chance to see some pretty tough cowboys take on some pretty tough bulls as well. Plus, after the bull riding, there's the Dancing in the Dirt Cabaret featuring live music from Bud's Busted 9 Irons. What a great night out it's going to be. For all the details and to get your tickets, go online, LloydEX.com. And coming up tomorrow in Vermilion, it's their 10th annual Snowmobile Expo. You've got a chance to see some classic snowmobiles and some of the latest models as well. Admission, it's only $5 plus a donation to the food bank. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
So why has Cold Lake decided to allow urban beekeeping?
Basically, this is something that we started seeing emerging in other communities in Alberta. I believe actually the city of Edmonton was the first municipality that I'm aware of that started allowing urban beekeeping, and I think they started back in 2015, if I recall correctly. And so we try to stay ahead of the trends or up with the trends. So once we start seeing things like this start becoming more commonplace in other communities in the province, we wanted to bring this in. Also, what we saw during the COVID years is we started seeing an increase in people that were aware that other communities were allowing things like beekeeping or urban hen keeping. And I think during COVID, people were kind of twofold. People were looking for things to do while they were at home with a lot of time on their hands. And also, I think just with some of the supply shortages and things like that, there was some concerns over food security as well. So we saw an increase in people asking about some of these kind of almost sort of small scale at home farming type of activities that some other municipalities were starting to permit.
Has an interest from people in cleaner living contributed to this?
We had a number of residents reach out to us that were interested in that. So we started looking to see kind of what is the best practices, how have other communities in the province started to address this. And really we patterned our policy or our bylaw after those that the City of Edmonton, City of St. Albert, and some other municipalities in the province are using to kind of keep our regulations on par with what those other communities were looking at.
What are some of the requirements for people that are interested in starting a beehive of their own?
From the city's end, you'd need to apply for an urban beekeeping license. And as part of that process, we want you to provide us with a plan showing where your hives are going to be located on the property. They need to be a certain distance away from adjoining properties. There's certain physical parameters in terms of the size and placement of the hive itself to try and deter bees from flying directly into an adjacent yard or onto maybe a sidewalk or a school ground or something that might be next to the person's house. We also, an important part of it is we also require that you show evidence that you've actually passed, have a certificate, and you've actually passed a course in responsible beekeeping, and that you've had some mentoring from somebody that's actually an experienced beekeeper, so that we want to have that level of comfort that before we permit a license, that you've demonstrated that you know how to care for the bees responsibly to minimize any harm to both the bees themselves as well as any neighbors and things that might be impacted by your beekeeping activity as well.
Residents who decide to have a beehive have to carry $2 million in liability insurance. What's the reason behind that?
The intent of that would be to cover in case there was any sort of incident that occurred as a result of the beekeeping that's occurring on that property, that you'd have before we would grant a license. We'd want to see that the applicant had that insurance in place so that if there should be ever an incident related to their beekeeping activities, that they have that insurance coverage.
Does the City of Cold Lake foresee any problems, or is beekeeping fairly straightforward?
To the best of my knowledge, the beekeeping's fairly straightforward. Because we've just adopted our policy here and it's kind of late in the year, I don't anticipate that we'll see people applying probably until likely February, March, kind of into the spring, as that's the time when people typically would pick up their supply of new bees and beekeeping supplies and kind of start for the year at that time. And also I should point out that the city also, this has just sort of been approved as a 2-year pilot program, so that we give people that are interested an opportunity to sort of try it out, as well as for the municipality ourselves, we can sort of learn what are some of the potential issues. Are there any issues, I guess I should say, and have an opportunity to sort of reflect and maybe update our policy, and then give City Council some feedback in terms of whether this is something the city would allow on an ongoing basis, or whether we would need to curtail that program, given that it's been offered in a number of other municipalities for, again, going back as far as 2015. We're not anticipating that there should be any great issues emerge, as well the fact that anyone applying that is licensed has to have that background to show that they've been that they have that responsible beekeeping background and mentorship that they've already gone through when they come in to apply for a license. Hopefully will go a long way towards mitigating any potential issues as well.
Residents are limited to one hive in their backyard. Is that designed to keep people from getting in over their heads?
Yeah, that's the intent, to sort of keep it small scale so that it is really just for the family's personal use. Without There is a stipulation in there as well that you can't be selling honey or honey products from your residential property. So it is really intended to sort of keep it on a small scale, just that would be manageable for sort of a typical family on their own at their own home.
So, where can people turn if they're looking to find out more information on the urban beekeeping plan?
There are a number of providers that can provide that actual background and education in beekeeping. So I would certainly recommend to anybody that's looking at beekeeping to get a hold of us, and we can provide some of those resources and information to share on some of those providers for that beekeeping service. Also, the government of Alberta, if you actually look up the provincial apiculturist. They actually have a very good website that talks about some considerations if you're looking at starting beekeeping, as well as information on common like bee diseases and things like that that might affect your beekeeping as well. So I'd certainly recommend to people to look up that are interested in this topic to look up the provincial apiculturist website.
Well, thanks for joining me today, Brad. Thanks for the information. I appreciate it. The world's largest iceberg is on the move after being stuck to the ocean floor for over 3 decades. The iceberg broke off from the Antarctic coastline back in 1986, but it had been grounded ever since. It's almost 1,500 square miles, which is almost 6 times larger than the city of Toronto. The thickness of its ice is 1,300 feet. Scientists say the iceberg is now about to move beyond the Antarctic waters. That would be a sight to see in person,
Yes,
for sure.
it's definitely something that's really cool. Not necessarily a good thing that it's moving now, but it is really cool that this is happening, and it hasn't moved in before I was born, before I was even a thought. So I think it's really cool that it's moving. Not necessarily a great thing for the environment, but still really cool to see.
It'd be interesting to track it over the next couple of years and see where it's headed. And that's all the news that we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good evening.